Chinook salmon turn from bright silver to drab brown as they leave Lake Michigan to ascend rivers and complete their life cycle. They make their way through deep holes and sandy shallows until they find fast-flowing water with gravel or cobble substrate. Here a male and female salmon guard their gravelly nest, which is also called a redd. Notice the worn tail or caudal fin of the female. Female salmon put tremendous effort into preparing their redds. By turning on her side and fanning the gravel, this hen digs a shallow depression in the gravel and clears out sand and silt that would smother her eggs. By the end of the spawning season, hens will have worn away the outer layers of the skin on their tails. This fish displays the typical white tail of a late-season hen. Large male Chinook salmon often develop a dark brown or black coloration late in the season. Males also develop a hooked jaw, or kype, which gives them a snaggle-toothed appearance. Competition for limited spawning habitat can be intense. Prime gravel stretches like this are rare in many Michigan rivers. Large females have an evolutionary advantage over small females because they produce more eggs and are better able to excavate and defend their nests. Here, a lone female has successfully built and defended an impressive redd. A large male maintains his position close to her, before being chased off by another large male. All the while, smaller males aggressively chase one another and jockey for position. Very small precocious males, called jacks, actually have an evolutionary advantage over the mid-sized males. These jacks mature early and can often successfully spawn using a sneaky mating tactic. While the larger males duke it out, the small and stealthy jacks attempt to gain access to the best position on the redd without being noticed. This particular female wants nothing to do with the small sneaker that moves in when the large buck is distracted. Chinook salmon can certainly be very aggressive toward one another during the spawning season, but they have a reputation of being hard to catch. Anglers often say that salmon get lockjaw after they've been in the river for a while and refuse to bite. This hen defied conventional wisdom when she grabbed a PVC pipe and mounted camera in her jaws. This buck also aggressively chased the camera, ramming it repeatedly with his snout. Some lures are designed to provoke an aggressive response from salmon. The wide wobble and loud rattle of a crankbait can sometimes provoke a strike, but not this time. The spinner is another popular presentation option that can sometimes spook fish with its combination of flash and vibration. This jack responds aggressively by rising to the lure. A slight change in color or blade size might be enough to turn a follow into a strike. Another approach is to use skein, or salmon eggs, to entice salmon into biting. Recent research in Alaskan streams has confirmed that some salmon species do eat and digest small quantities of eggs to keep up their energy during the spawning run. The hot pink glob in the middle of the screen is a chunk of skein suspended beneath a float. but there's too much tension on the line, and the salmon can tell that the bait is not drifting naturally with the current. This cast spooked the fish slightly. This time, there is not enough tension on the line, and the float begins to pull the bait downstream too quickly. The small, round weights on the line get ahead of the bait, and salmon turn away. Finally, a perfect drift, with the float stem cocked slightly upstream. The bait drifts naturally ahead of the split shot, with the perfect amount of tension on the line. But these fish don't seem impressed. Just off screen, a salmon bites, and the float goes down. A hook set, a splash, and the fish scatter. But fishing is not the only way to experience the spectacle of the salmon run. Anyone can enjoy watching salmon as they attempt to ascend barriers to their progress upstream. Good places to watch salmon include dams, fish ladders, and weirs like this one on the Platte River near Honor, Michigan. Coho salmon gather below the upper weir in impressive numbers as they return to the location where they were stocked. The weir diverts coho salmon into a fish ladder, which then leads fish into holding ponds at the Platte River State Fish Hatchery. These cohos will serve as parents to the next generation of salmon stocked around Lake Michigan. Spawning phase coho salmon are more brightly colored than their Chinook cousins. Around Labor Day, coho salmon begin to ascend rivers while they are still silver. These fish move quickly upstream and typically make their way through fish ladders more effectively than Chinooks. In warm rivers, coho salmon and summer-run steelhead can become stressed. These fish are resting at the mouth of a cold water tributary that provides refuge from warm temperatures in the Grand River. Coho salmon typically spawn in small, cold streams. Once they reach their spawning grounds, they will rest in quiet pockets of water, near root wads, or close to the protection of fallen logs. Coho salmon can make their way into surprisingly shallow creeks and navigate through dense log jams and leaf packs. This buck maneuvered onto his side to wedge himself within a leaf pack in a tiny creek. But the story of the salmon run would not be complete without mention of the ultimate fate that awaits each salmon. Every coho and Chinook salmon will die of natural causes after the spawn. Migrating upstream, building reds, and fighting with rivals takes a tremendous amount of energy, and salmon do lose the ability to feed and digest food as they reach the later stages of their life. In the end, each salmon will succumb to exhaustion as its immune system shuts down. Fungal infections begin to spread even before the fish are dead. While this might seem like a cruel trick of nature, the death of mature salmon provides a striking example of sacrifice for the next generation. In fact, Chinook and coho salmon are native to nutrient-poor rivers. Their macabre life history is actually an adaptation that allows salmon parents to fertilize natal streams. The carcasses of parent fish provide nutrients that stimulate the growth of insects and other invertebrates that provide a critical food resource for young salmon in their native streams of the Pacific Northwest. Although salmon are not native to Lake Michigan, they provide a powerful reminder of the sacrifice each generation makes to perpetuate the species, as well as an example of connections between rivers and the Great Lakes. This has been a production of Michigan Sea Grant. Check out our YouTube channel for additional content.